Yes, I landed late last night.
And
Very
tell us
early.
about the whole fashionism campaign. How did it come about?
I mean, yeah, we just worked together on the concept, and it was just really about being super yourself and free. And I have quite eclectic style anyway, so it comes quite naturally. Yeah, we shot the campaign in Shanghai one day, and it was just a really great process because I, was self-shooting and modeled and styled and art directed and stuff. So it was
Nice.
really collaborative process. Well, I've been to Manila once before actually. Yeah, I came and did a talk a few years ago with L'Officiel magazine. Yeah, a while
Yes,
back with
yes.
Pam Quinones.
Yes.
And yeah, it's cool. You guys are like super stylish women in Philippines, and I think there's like such a great culture of high-low, like mix and match kind of thing, and all of the publications here are like super advanced in terms of being quite directional.
When did you develop your style? You said you were eclectic. Can you expound on that?
I mean, my background is ballet, so I
Okay,
grew
wow.
up. When I was a kid, I was training quite seriously to be a ballet dancer, and so my kind of segue into fashion was really through costume design in ballet, just like seeing how fabrication can really affect a performance and like how it is emotionally interpreted. So yeah, was kind of like introduced to couture through costume design more than ready to wear. But yeah, I mean, I went to school in Australia. I grew up in Australia. So we had school uniforms, so it wasn't really like we had that much room to move in terms of style. But yeah, movement and being able to be comfortable and mobility and physical liberation is like a big part of how I dress. Lucky in that I'm able to travel a lot in my work, and so being able to be exposed to different cultures and music and food and people and different worldviews and perspectives, understanding the global economy and social political circumstances and stuff, I think that really helps build out your world perspective and change the way that you see people and subjects. So yeah, but it's a constantly evolving thing.
You've been here before, but right now, what does interest you? What do you want to shoot? What do you want to capture in your lens?
I think Southeast Asia generally and the Philippines obviously has a lot of really amazing natural landscapes, and I miss that in New York because I live in New York now. It's a very concrete jungle situation without the jungle part. So yeah, I love kind of seeing what different countries have to offer in terms of climate and terrain because it's always so different.
Any area in particular in Manila or maybe the Philippines, the islands?
Yeah, I mean the islands, people have told me nothing but great things about the beaches. I'm a beach person because I grew up in Australia. And yeah, Manila as a city I think is so dynamic. I mean even on my way here it was like so many colors and the building, like the mix of architecture is really interesting.
For the fans, of course, who look up to you, what tip can you give them for them to develop their own style or the content that they want to share?
I think it's always less about the clothes and less about the possessions that you have and more about how you choose to educate yourself. And it doesn't mean going to school necessarily, although I think tertiary education is a great privilege, so you should do it if you can. But I think it's always about reading as much as you can, seeing as many exhibitions as you can, and being really hands-on. For example, if you're a stylist or you want to be a photographer, an art director, just like go out and do it and create your own stuff and really hone what it is that you like and what you're good at, and finding people who can really complement you in terms of filling in the gaps of things that you could collaborate on together. So yeah, a very globalized industry, and we through the internet have democratized access to brands and access to art and fashion and design generally, and so it's really exciting to be able to just experiment. Like there's no rules and there's no right or wrong, and I don't think people should be intimidated by clothes or be dictated by what other people wear or try to emulate somebody else. I think it's really important just to look at yourself and be okay with your flaws and know your body and know what you love and know what inspires you. And like I said before, it's not about the clothes or how much you can afford or not afford. It's really just about experimentation and how can you make things work for you and as a self-expression means.
Can you walk us through, or your audience, about how, because everyone thinks what you're doing is just pure glamour, right? So can you walk us through, the nitty gritty, what really happens behind the scenes when you shoot, you create your content?
I mean, I feel like what people see on my web platforms is like 0.5% of what I actually do. I think a lot of people don't realize that my job is not to be of influence at all. I'm a photographer, so like any photographer, there are many photographers in this room. You know, you have your work that you have to do for clients. I'm a consultant. I have a consultancy company. I spend a lot of time doing strategy, market analysis, and brand imaging and consulting in that sense.
You're busy.
I am busy, and so it's just like anybody else's job. Like you have so many admin versus creative versus analytical things that you have to do, and it all comes with part of the job. And I think that's a big misconception for a lot of people in our digital age, in that your digital identity defines everything, and it really doesn't for anyone. It doesn't matter who you are. Like if it's just your mom or whatever, it's like no one's going to put their whole life online. So I don't think that's an accurate representation of who someone is. Engagement with fashion is not really about the clothes. Like I said, it's really more about design, and I think it comes in cycles in the industry as to what's super relevant and who's really making really compelling art or commentary on the society that be. So I think there's always something different to engage with in some way, and just because I choose a very multifaceted way of working, my entire career isn't dependent on clothes or fashion. So